Welcome back. To survive a stroke, patients need treatment fast, but it's not always close by. Our national investigative team partnered with Kaiser Health News to find parts of the country where people have to drive a long way to get to a certified stroke center. Investigate TV's Lee Zurich looks at the difficult decisions people make in emergencies in bridging the great health divide.
Haley Stockton heard the fear on the phone.
And my little brother called my mom, and then he called me, and he said, "Can you please come up here? Something's wrong with Granny."
Granny, the family matriarch, couldn't talk, couldn't answer a question.
I remember asking her, "Granny, do you know what today is? Can you tell me your name? Can you smile? Can you do anything, that show us that you're okay?" And she was just she was out of her head.
75-year-old Lottie Crouch was having a stroke in rural Tennessee. Their dilemma, 2 months earlier, the county hospital in Jamestown closed. The closest one in the state, now a 45-minute drive.
I just knew this could be the last time I see my grandmother alive. This could be it.
That same fear strikes hundreds of thousands of Americans across the country. Around 800,000 people suffer strokes every year, many in rural areas, far away from the specialized care they need quickly. Strokes cut off blood flow to part of the brain. The sooner that blood flow is restored, the more the brain can heal.
Minutes can make a difference between whether or not you walk out of a hospital basically ready to get back to your prior self, or whether you have to go through rehabilitation, and whether you can even regain all the functional abilities that you had before.
Along with our partners at Kaiser Health News, we mapped out stroke centers and analyzed how long it takes residents to reach that important care. Our findings reveal nearly a third of people who live in the Delta region live more than a 45-minute drive from a certified stroke center. The places with the long drive shown here in bright red.
But now we're at a point where we're starting to see whole areas of states lose access to care. And so for strokes and other things where you need care really quickly, that can be really crucial.
For people in rural areas, think of this like a puzzle. The pieces have to fall perfectly in place for patients to survive.
And so it depends on both the rural hospitals knowing the system, and then the urban hospitals or suburban or whatever, the bigger hospitals, having a very clear protocol in place to take those patients as quickly as possible too.
Fortunately, the puzzle pieces fit together for Lottie Crouch.
I couldn't see, couldn't talk, don't remember seeing nothing.
An ambulance took her to a helicopter, which rushed her to Knoxville, Tennessee for treatment.
What could it have been if it had been inclement weather? What could it have been if our 3 ambulance trucks were on another call? How lucky was she, and how many people are going to get that lucky in the future?
And while her family says they had luck on their side, they worry for their neighbors and how those pieces will fit together for the next family.
And I thought, how many people has this affected? How many families like us that it was too late for? How many families before something is done to prevent this from happening?
Lee Zurich, Valley News Live.
Doctors agree the most important thing to do is immediately find medical help of some kind as soon as someone has symptoms of a stroke. Those symptoms include slurred or strange speech and a person's face drooping on one side when they try to smile. Another test, ask the person to raise both arms. If one drifts downward, that's another sign. If you need help uncovering an issue, call our whistleblower hotline, and we'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. Call 237-6576 and leave your tip.
Up next in sports, it's crunch time for the NDSU Bison baseball team, and this weekend will make a lot of difference as the regular season winds down.